Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to look at learning activity number 4, packet tracer peer-to-peer and client server networks. Just kind of as a side note, just realize that I know I haven't done a video for number 2 or number 3 learning activities, but what I'm doing video for is stuff that we're going to learn in class, but say you miss a class and you can actually catch up. So the video will come out after we do it in the classroom. So and the other two activities, they're pretty much they don't need a demonstration. You just need to take a quiz or something. Um, so if you did number 1, you should realize that by now you got Packet Tracer installed. You don't need anything big. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the peer-to-peer. Now, before we start, though, the instructions are going to say you're going to do two different activities, but they're going to be done on the same PKT file on the same screen. So it looks like on the instructions it's two different things, but it's actually one. But they're not exactly related. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and download the PDF, so I make sure that I have instructions that I can either split my screen, or if I open another device I can use that. And I'm going to act like I have two devices. I'm going to act like I have a computer and then an iPad. So my iPad is going to have my instructions, and the computer is what you see right here. um, okay, sorry, I had to pause the video, so I'm not really 100% sure what I mentioned before, so I'm not going to try to go over stuff too much. But anyways, so I downloaded the PDF. And there's no PKT file with this one, so I'm going to go ahead and act like I have um, my instructions on iPad, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And I'm going to open it up here, but I'm going to act like I open it up on my other computer. Of course, that's a video from that I just created a little while ago. So what I'm looking now at is I have my my packet tracer program. I'm going to open it up. Remember, it's usually going to ask you to log in, so mine might already be logged in. So I'm going to have it come up. I'm going to give it some time because I know how it sometimes takes a little while. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm looking at the instructions just like you would. I mean, I'm not going to go through the objective of the scenario, but on part 1, step 1, it says add devices. It says open up Packet Tracer, and you're looking for a 2960 switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the switches. I'm gonna grab it, pull it up here. I'm gonna drop it. Now, like the different thing between the other one and this one, this is gonna become a PKT file when you're finished. But this one has nothing to start with, so it's pretty easy. You don't have to worry about you know um, deleting words and stuff. So now it says scroll over and look in devices and look for the generic PC. So I'm gonna go to in devices, and I pull a PC, and it says um, go ahead and place it underneath the switch. So I'm gonna have one, and it says you want to do 4 more like that. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not 100% sure why they're so big like that. Maybe it's because I have the zoom feature on or something. Well, don't worry about that too much. Um, Also, you can notice if I double click on it, it opens up the features that are on the computer. That's going to be relevant in a few seconds in the next part of this lab. So now it asks me to, and you go down your instructions, you'll see that you have a topology kind of similar to the one that they have in the picture. Now I'm going to go to step 2. It says uh, you're looking for a straight through copper cable that's going to basically connect everything straight through. So you're not going to pick crossover or anything. So we're going to go to connectors, and we're going to go from PC1 to, and we're going to use fast Ethernet 0, and we're going to put in fast Ethernet 01. And now we're going to keep repeating all this stuff until we connect all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and click another one, come here, faster Ethernet, here, faster Ethernet 02, fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 03, and last but not least, we're going to fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 04. Now, if you notice, it says fast Ethernet 0 slash 4. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's just an indicator of of telling the person what port you're using is for, and we're connecting the computer faster Ethernet 0 with port 4. Not really 100% sure, but that's what I'm assuming. So now I'm going to connect everything, and if you look at the topology and the way everything's connected, it looks similar to what you have on the screen. So now I'm going to go ahead. It says on step 3, assign IP addresses to each PC. Now here's the actual tricky part. I'm actually looking at the images. So I'm going to go to PC01. I'm going to desktop, and then I'm going to go to IP config. And that's what it tells me per the instructions. It says on the desktop, and I already set it. So now, when you get down to, I guess it's page 5, everything you need is there. The IP address, the subnet will populate on its own, and then your default gateway. On the link local address, do not worry about that. Don't worry about changing static or DHCP yet. In the next piece of the lab, we're going to do that. But for right now, all I'm going to do is for the first one, I'm going to put in 192.168.1.2. And that's going off of what the image tells me. So if you notice, I click down the default gateway, you see how subnet automatically populated. And I'll try to explain that in class a little bit better, why that does that. So 192.168.1.1 is what the first computer is. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry, the default gateway. So now I'm not going to touch anything else. I'm just going to go ahead and close this one. And you can use the same image to do PC01. I'm going to go to desktop, IP config, leaving everything alone. But now if you notice that chart where it says D, repeat this processing, assigning the static IP address IPs as shown on the table below. So now you're basically going to take, and you know what? Yeah, at this point, if you, well, you want to make sure that you type in 192.168.1.3, and just make sure it's the right IP address. A subnet will come up on its own, and I'm still using that default gateway of 192.168.1.1. And don't worry about the DNS server. And I haven't changed anything else. I'm good to go. Punch next, and then go. I'm going to go to PC2 desktop IP config 192, and then I'm still going from the chart 168.1.4. And subnet comes up on its own, and I'm doing the default gateway of 192.168.1.1. Later on, I'll try to explain this a little bit better. Right, I'm just trying to get you through the lab. So now everything's ready to go. I'm ready to go here. Go to last PC. Type in IP config 162.192. Oh, sorry, I got those backwards. 192.168.1.5 is the one that we're working with now. And now we do the last default gateway 192.168.1.1, and it looks like everything's good to go. Now, it says in this piece right here, it says test for connectivity. We didn't do anything to the switch. So the switch just got wires going on, but we want to make sure that the computers are talking to each other. So it says now what we're going to do is go to PC3, which is the one we just finished programming. So basically, you don't really have to close that one. If you already did, it's cool. We can bring it back up. And on this piece right here, we're looking for command prompt, which is over here. This is IP config, this is command prompt. So I'm going to click it. You will test the connectivity to each of the other PCs using ping utility. In the command prompt, type in, and then it says this. Now, if you noticed, let me go ahead and close this. I'll do it again. Go to command prompt, and automatically brings this up. So if you get that screen good, if for some reason you mess up, like you start typing and you hit enter by accident, you're like, oh, I messed up. Don't worry. As long as you keep hitting enter, it'll give you a chance to reset. So now I'm going to type in the word ping, and I put a space, and I do 192.168.1.2. And that PC, according to that chart, I'm going to look up a little bit, is actually PC 01. So that's basically I'm communicating from this computer to this computer. Once I hit enter, I start getting a reply, and this is always good to see because it says I sent out 4 packets and I received 4 packets and I lost no signal. So what I can do now is I can ping PC one. Sorry, I had to hesitate on that one. So I got to ping 192.168.1.3, and remember this is the other one. I hit enter. It's sending. Everything's good to go. It looks like it. I'm gonna try that last one, which is 192.168.1.4. Now we're not gonna do PC3 because we're on PC3. And if you look at here at the top, right here on this, on your title bar, um, that's where it's telling you you are on PC3. Hit enter. Ooh, wow, I'm kind of glad that happened actually, because that will happen to you sometimes too. You got to remember to type in the word ping and 168.1.4. Hit enter. There you go. Fix the problem. She's ready to go. That's it. Everything's good. So that means that we're finished with this piece of the lab. Now, at this point, it does tell you in the last piece, C, before we get to part 2, it says save it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to file, and we did this in the first lab, but you go file, save as, and you're going to name it. I would probably name it what learning activity number 4, packet tracer peer to peer. So I can do LA number 4, and you can see that I actually done this before with the other video. I'm just redoing the video is what it is. Peer to peer. And remember, it'll show up on Canvas the right way, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm gonna punch save. I am saving on my desktop. Save it to my desktop. There she goes. And now I want to make sure that everything's good. And it looks like the one I have, so we're good. So I'm going to go to part 2. Now you're pretty close to finishing because we're on page 7, so we only have a little bit to go. So now we're going to create another network as shown on the topology above. So you're going to find, it says you're going to find the server icon at the end of the end devices. So I'm going to go to here, and I'm looking for a server. So remember, this is separate. So I'm going to kind of put it off here on the side. Remember, you've seen the PCs, but now you're using a server. You're going to use a 2960 switch. So I need to go back and get my switches. Just one of them. I'm going to push this off to the side right here and leave it right there. And I need 2 PCs. Well, we've done this a couple times, so we know it's just a PC right here and a PC right here. Now, notice how it says PC 4 and 5. It's because in this other piece of the lab we had 0, 1, 2, 3, and I got 4 and 5. So just make sure you understand that the computer knows that you're working in this file. So it does give you different PCs because in reality, they would be different PCs. I mean, you'd have a room with these PCs and then a room with these PCs. So it says here, number step 2, we're going to configure the DHCP on the server. So it says on step 2A, it says click on server 0. So this is server 0. I'm going to click it. Go to the desktop tab. Remember, you know where desktop tab is up here. You're going to the IP. We're going to assign the server with an IP static config. So I'm going to go to IP address. And if you notice, it's a little bit different than a computer, but we're dealing with an IP config static. And I'm going to type in 192.168.1.2. Now, it's okay for right now, but I mean, later on we might talk about this, but there might be something, it'll work for this system. It's cool. I'm not going to talk about it right now in the video. So we're going to go to default gateway. Default gateway is 192.168.1.1. Don't worry about the numbers. Just put them in for right now. That's okay. Then it says on B, it says on the server 0, go to the services tab. So up here you got the tabs, physical, config, and services. And now it says, according to that little picture, it says we're going to turn it on. We're going to turn on the DHCP. But before we do that, we have to select, sorry, I missed a step, DHCP. And then we're going to turn the service on. And now we're going to go scrolling down. We're now on part two, step 2, C, and we're going to program this thing in. So we got the server pool up there. We don't have the default gateway in, so we got to type it in 192.168.1.1. The DNS is blank. And your screen might look a little different than my screen, but it still says start IP address 192.168.1. Well, one, I say dot, but it's, but anyways, we just keep saying dot. So we got the subnets going, and then it says max number of users 5. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and change it to 5. I'm not going to touch the TFTP server, but then it does say you need to save it. So once I save it, you're going to see something happen down here. So I punch save, bang, it's ready to go. So now I'm on the last page, step 3. It says turn on DHCP on the PCs and then observe the IP addresses as they come up. So basically what we're doing is we're trying to talk the computers into talking to the server. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. You know what? This is where I missed the same step last time. So up here on part 2, and I'm looking at my instructions, it does say we need to connect all the devices using straight through cable. So I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, I messed up twice on this, so this is why I redid the video. But we're gonna go ahead and go with it. I'm gonna go connector, straight through cable. I'm going from the server, from faster Ethernet, there's no other choice, to faster Ethernet 0 port 1. Then I need to go from, with the same kind of cable, from switch 02 to faster Ethernet, just like we've been connecting. Sorry, I know this might have messed some of you guys up. Well, everything's being programmed, so it's cool. We're just hooking everything up real fast. And we're connected to the faster Ethernet, and now everything's communicating. We're going to let that get a few minutes, but I'm going to go back down to page 9. So we're almost done. So now, while it's communicating, it has to have these green triangles. So give it a few seconds. Let me see if we can get this done. It's been about 15 minutes already. Looks like it's coming online. We got one more to get. And now I'm going to go to PC4. Because now it's connected. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to desktop. I'm going to IP config. And now, if you notice right here, it says DHCP. This is the button they want you to click. And when I click it, if everything's communicating right, you're going to see DHCP request successful. It just gave it an IP address. So everything's good. So we're going to do the exact same thing to this PC right here. IP config, hit DHCP, and we're going to hope everything happens right here, and it did. And if you notice, the IP addresses are different. Now we're going to ping them to make sure everything's working. I do want to mention something, and I'll mention it in class too. If I bring one of these files up, if you let this thing sit here for a little while, you can see a bunch of information. You can see, and faster Ethernet 01 says link up, IP address, and it gives you the address. And that /24 we're going to talk about later, but it has everything it needs. It gives you the MAC address and everything else. So we know it's working. So now we got to confirm that it's talking. So remember from the first activity, we have to ping it. Now, I know I've talked about it in class, and I'm going to mention it real quick in the video. everything that you do in a Cisco lab will build upon itself. So if you do something and then you don't see a step by step, that means that you should know it by then. So it's assuming you know how to ping. So we still got to go to command prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through it. You go to the computer, go to desktop, go to command prompt, and then we're going to ping. Since I'm on 4 and I want to go to, no, it says you want to ping the server. So I'm not going to ping the computer. I'm actually going to ping the server. And the IP address we gave the server was point 0.2. So I'm going to go ahead and ping it, ping 192 dot, and this is according to the instructions, dot 1.2. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to wait, and it's showing throwing some packets out there. And sure enough, everything came back good, sent for and received for. So now the last one I'm going to do is I'm going to do PC5 to the server, and we're going to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to go to command prompt. I'm going to ping the server. Now I'm pinging the server, remember, so you got 192.168.1.2. And I'm going to hit enter. Everything should work out fine, and it is. I sent out 4 packets, received 4, and I lost nothing. So we're good to go. Now it says the last piece we need to do is make sure we save the file and then upload it to our canvas. So I'm going to go to file. I'm going to save as just to make sure it's saved still. And I punch enter. It's going to say overwrite. It's a yes. When I close it, it's going to close. And what I'm looking at is a file that looks like that. It's a little bit different than this one. But you turn that in and we're good to go.